Good afternoon, everyone. Special welcome to all the teachers of Jamaica and across the Caribbean and, of course, across the Americas. My name is Rebecca Vieira, and I'm the coordinator of the Inter-American Teacher Education Network, which is an initiative of the Organization of American States funded by the U.S. mission to the OAS. Today, we have some wonderful speakers from across Jamaica. I know she won't be speaking today too much, but Miss Bhagya Maladi is also here. She has been one of our I-10 teacher fellows for well over 2 years now. And she's been working with teachers all across the country and across the Caribbean. And today she's introduced us to 4 new teachers that I just, for some of them I've known for a little while now, but teacher presenters including Katanya Farquharson, Carrie Ann Belferrant, Erica Allen Lennon, and Mitzi Burns, supported with moderation from Carrie Ann Reed Bucknor, and of course, a welcome note from Dr. Joseph Thomas of the Ministry of Education and the Jamaica Teaching Council. So today, they're going to be sharing with us a little bit about enhancing STEM through authentic learning. STEM might be a new term for some of you. It refers to science, technology, engineering, and mathematics, and the integration of those fields. And that has been the focus of I-10 for the past 3 years. So we've done a lot of thinking and acting to support STEM teachers and to think about how we help our classrooms be really more authentic to help students respond to the challenges of the modern world. So I think, as you probably heard when you came in, this will be a recorded session for those who aren't able to be with us here today. During the presentations, you are more than welcome to ask questions in the chat. And then once the presentations are done, we'll also give you the opportunity to ask some questions directly to the presenters as well, in case you'd like more information or would like to learn more. All right, with that, I think I'm going to hand it over to Dr. Joseph Thomas for the welcome note so we can get started today. Thank you.
Rebecca, screen sharing. Okay, thank you.
Moderator, Mrs. Buckner.
Miss Rebecca Vieira, trainer, and the master teacher Mrs. Bhagya Maladi, teachers, presenters, invited guests, educators, ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. Greetings from Jamaica. Welcome to another webinar organized by master teacher Mrs. Bhagya Maladi from Jamaica. Mrs. Maladi conducted a training program for the teachers in authentic learning, which is very relevant at this time. This intervention is a capacity building engagement to enhance the teachers to be more effective and efficient in this challenging period. Today, we have 4 teachers from early childhood, primary, and secondary level, sharing their learning experiences and the interactive sessions that they had with their students and in the training sessions. I hope this will be a motivation for the other teachers who are still struggling to reach out to their students. We find the significance of authentic learning, and that is very critical at this time as it is demanded by the pandemic because our students are staying away from the classrooms and the teachers need to create a meaningful learning environment for their students. It is not necessary that our in-service teachers who had completed their teacher training program a couple of years ago can easily plan and implement a class emphasizing authentic learning. So it is important to develop this type of empowerment opportunities for our teachers. I want to congratulate Mrs. Maladi for choosing
Okay, Kerry, you can take over.
Okay, thank you so much, Mrs. Maladi. And we are sorry for how that was just broken suddenly. Probably just a little part of technology. All right, ladies and gentlemen, once again, Mrs. Bhagya Maladi is up to her old tricks. She is found guilty of trying to influence the world, one teacher at a time, by sharing her knowledge and expertise of STEM and authentic learning with as many colleagues as possible. Guilty, guilty, guilty. Just a few months ago, I was one of the teachers being drilled and molded. And can I tell you a secret? The only reason I am not one of the presenters today is because I am on vacation leave. Yay, me. If you know Mrs. Maladi at all, colleagues, and I believe there isn't a single participant here who has not heard about her, you know that her old tricks are only geared towards the improvement of teachers' pedagogy and the increase of students' outcome. Therefore, we give her free rein to continue, and we gladly participate in her teacher leadership plan initiatives. Hence why we are here today. Now, this afternoon, 4 of her mentees will share experiences and highlight how they have been enhancing STEM through authentic learning. Here is their story. Once upon a time, there were some young Tainer boys and girls who heard their contemporary peers in a heated discussion. Our lives are way better than that of Tainer children long ago, they said. Look at us. We have Nintendo DS games, we have anime, and we have Netflix. All they did was sit around all day and run around with a ball. The Tainer children thought the only way to get their modern peers to understand what life was like was for them to switch places. So they worked their magic and whoosh, ancient became modern and vice versa. Colleagues, listen and watch now as Miss Mitzi Burns and her students experience a day in the life of a Tainer. Next slide, Mrs. Maladi.
Okay, Dr. Thomas would love to just conclude. Okay, Kerry?
Okay, no problem.
Live, and then I will continue. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. Sorry, there was an interruption, technical challenge. So I don't want to disrupt the program. I really want to welcome all of you for this professional forum. I hope the teachers are going to share their experience. Of course, this is kind of new for many teachers. What is authentic learning? Please sit down and relax and observe the thing and prepare to ask some questions. Before I welcome you, I want to say a big thank you to OAS I-10. They have been supporting the Jamaican teachers for a couple of years, especially Miss Rebecca Vieira, for her support. Thank you very much. Thank you, Mrs. Maladi, for this initiation. Thank you, teachers, those who involved in this particular program. And they learn something, they implement something. Now they are here to share their experience. Welcome all. Welcome once again. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Thomas. Thank you. So we continue, colleagues.
Hello, and welcome to our session today on making it real. How we can employ authentic learning strategies despite being in a pandemic. Okay, I trust you will stay with us. I'm your host for this session, Mitzi Burns, and my students and I, my students from grade 4 and I, will be working to get you involved in what we thought would have been an authentic way to learn despite the challenges we currently face. So stay tuned and let's go. So here we are, and we sat down and thought about how best we could make it all come together. And this is what we came up with. So first we have, welcome to the Young Scientist Corner. Here we hypothesized about what our ancestors' lives may have been like. We then decided to do an experiment. So we focused on what we think they would wear, what they would eat, how do they get food to feed themselves. And here we showcase for you, you be the judge as to whether or not our learning is or was authentic. So here, I present to you a day in the life of. So vamos amigos, let's go friends, a day in the life of. And we thought, what would it be like if we were alive back in the days of the Thanos? Think about that for a minute. What would it be like? Let's see what my children came up with. Here, we looked at how they might have dressed. Is it possible they may have dressed this way? Is it possible that they had greenery instead of concrete houses behind them, as is seen here in this picture? And would they have eaten roast corn, do you think? So would they have dressed this way? Would they have eaten this kind of food? We were thinking just maybe they would be. And would a Taino boy actually be dressed this way? Would he also be required to have body paintings, just like the other males in the tribe? Yes, because we know that the Taino men did have markings on their body. Yeah, there were body paintings. And fishing, anyone? Did they actually eat fish? And did they use a stick to catch the fish? So would they go down to the river and try to lance the fish using a stick? Do you think? This would be the fish and the stick. How about eating it off a plate? Oh, no, maybe a banana leaf would do. So roast fish on a banana leaf, anybody? Oh, sounds yummy. Did the Thanos eat fish like this? I think we did. I think they did. I think they did. And did they actually go hunting? Would they have looked like this if they went hunting? And what would they be hunting? Would that be birds or yellow snake or iguanas? Oh, what about the pony? Yes, you know we call that mongoose now, right? But they call it the pony. Yes, they ate that as well. And would they wear jewelry? And if so, what kind of jewelry would they wear? Would it be beads and shells? We think they did. And would they actually carry food or whatever it is that they're taking on their heads? In this case, right, plantains? Okay, so did the Thanos go hunting? They certainly did. And we contend that they would probably be dressed this way with their bow and arrows as one of the instruments that were used to do the hunting. But thinking about it, how did they entertain themselves? Was there any playtime for the children or even adults? Do they participate in anything that would make them, bond with each other, like, social, well, not social networking, but naturally some kind of social get together, some kind of social gathering? Let's find out, shall we? Ha ha ha. Little girls at play. And what game, pray tell, do you think our little Taino girls and boys might have played? Yes, you guessed it, you guessed it. They did play the battles. That's the game they played. Good job. Yes, they did play the battles. That's their game. Now, can I say to you that after all that hunting and after all that gathering and all the fishing, do you think maybe, just maybe, we could have some pepper pot stew? I'm hungry. Anybody with me for some pepper pot stew? This is one of the main dishes that the Tainos enjoyed. It has a combination of ingredients, lots of vegetables and more than one kind of meat, because they, as I said before, the pony, the iguanas, the yellow snake, different from fish. Yes, lots of vegetables in there with the sweet potatoes. Delicious. Yes, indeed. And so we have come to the end of a day in the life of. And here we're trusting that you may have gotten just an idea that would cause a spark or helped you to remember just how it was for our ancestors back in the days and how they would, well, live quite different from how we live today. Wouldn't you agree? We thank you for your participation. We thank you for being here today. And this is all we have time for. Yes, so thank you, folks. Thank you for stopping by, and do have yourselves a blessed weekend. Thank you.
And there we have it, the end of the first chapter in this story. Now, time passed, and those young fourth grade students grew up into teenagers. One day, while playing on the beach, they saw some visitors. Those visitors were the Spaniards. They began teaching the students a second language, Spanish. Mrs. Carrie-Ann Belferron was one of the teachers. Here now is a riveting chapter of her students sharing how they spent their weekend, but in a different language. Take it away, Mrs. Belferron.
Hola todos. I am Carrie-Ann Belferron, and I will be demonstrating how I have integrated stream as well as authentic learning materials and activities in my Spanish lesson. The topic that I was teaching was El fin de semana pasado, last weekend, and the question that we focused on was ¿Cómo pasaste el fin de semana? How did you spend the weekend? The objective of the lesson was for the students to talk about past activities using the Petri tense. They had already done regular verbs, and they were now going to include the irregular forms. The students were able to learn through music as 2 songs were used during the lesson, one of which is an authentic Spanish song. They not only listened for enjoyment, but they were able to tally the number of times that the Petri tense appeared in each song, and they were also able to identify the irregular patterns. They were also allowed to have a conversation with a native speaker who was invited to the class. They were able to listen as she explained what she did on the weekend, and they were also able to share what they did. Yes, there were errors at times, but that is a natural part of language learning, and there was evidence that they were using the irregular as well as the regular verbs in the Petri tense to talk about what they did on the weekend. Here is a short clip of a part of the class.
El fin de semana visité a mi madre. Ella vive más o menos cerca, 30 minutos más o menos. También cociné mucho, me gusta cocinar, entonces preparé lasaña. También ayudé a un amigo con su mudanza y el domingo descansé, estuve trabajando en mi jardín y en la noche vi Netflix.
So here she's explaining that on the weekend, she visited her mother who lives close by. She cooked, and more specifically, she prepared lasagna. She helped a friend with moving, and on Sunday, she rested. And in the night, she watched Netflix.
¿Qué hicieron ustedes el fin de semana pasado?
Jugué con mis primos y fui de compras con mi mamá.
Ajá. Jugué con mis primos y fui de compras con mi mamá.
Sí.
¡Ah, qué bueno!
Sí.
Mariana, Janoy,
Yes,
Janoy.
Hola, Janoy.
Hola. En el fin de semana miro videos.
¿Videos de música?
Sí.
¿Qué música te gusta, Janoy?
Me escucho reggae.
Reggae, me gusta el reggae.
El fin de semana miré la televisión, hace los deberes y navegar por internet.
Ah, sí. Yo también navegué por internet.
Me levanté a las 7:30 el sábado.
Sí.
¿Y Janoy?
Me levanté a las 7.
Gabriela.
Gabriela, ¿qué tomaste el fin de semana? ¿Para el desayuno?
Desayuné cereales.
Cereales. ¿Con leche?
Sí.
Con leche.
Some of the responses from the students were, I played with my cousins and went shopping with my mother. I watched videos. I watched television, did my homework, and surfed the net. I got up at 8 o'clock on Saturday. I had cereal for breakfast. So those were some of the responses by the students. The students were not only responding orally, but some of them actually had internet challenges, and so they shared their responses in the Google Meet chat. And again, you can see that there is evidence of them using the structure. They were asked to share the experience they had with our native guest, and here are the responses of 2 students.
It was a very interesting class. Miss Mariana was very nice and friendly, and it was very interesting to trying to understand what she's saying, meanwhile answering the questions she asked. I would like her to come to our class again in the future.
I could pick up most of the things that she was saying, but not everything. I was a little nervous at first because it was the first time speaking to someone who came from a Spanish country. I know I made a lot of mistakes. It was actually fun though, and I would like to have that experience again.
The students were also allowed to work in pairs, to have a conversation, to have a WhatsApp conversation. And this also allowed them to use the language in a simple but natural way. And again, they not only used the irregular verbs, but we saw where they also drew on their previous knowledge by including the regular verbs as well. Yes, I said before there might be a few errors, but there's evidence of them using the structures. And here they're just saying, hello, how is it going? I am not well, and you? I'm fine, thanks. Why are you not okay? Because of internet problems at school. How did you spend the weekend? I went shopping with my mother. What did you buy? We bought bread, eggs, pancakes, and lots of fruits. And you? What did you do? I relaxed and watched television. You're lucky. And she laughs and said, I hope to send you a text message soon. She says, me too. And the second message, hello, how are you? Fine, thanks. And you? I am tired. How did you spend the weekend? I watched television and slept all day. And you? On Friday night, I did my homework. Then I watched a movie on DVD. I went to bed at 11. On Saturday, I got up late. I had breakfast and went to my friend's house. On Sunday, I went on the road with my stepfather and I ate ice cream. As a homework activity, the students were asked to take a picture of a meal that they had on the weekend. They were also asked to say what they had using the petri tense and to say whether or not it was a healthy meal. This covers nutrition and accounted for the science part of the lesson. Here is what two of the students did.
El sábado pasado desayuné una hamburguesa con pan, queso, huevo, salchicha y jamón. Era muy delicioso, pero creo que la comida era insalubre. El sábado cené brócoli, coliflor y camarones al curry. Pienso que es muy sabroso y saludable. A mí me gusta.
Student number 1 said that she had a hamburger with bread, cheese, eggs, sausages, and ham for breakfast. She said that it was delicious, but she thought it was unhealthy. Student number 2 said that she had broccoli, cauliflower, and curried shrimps for dinner on Saturday. She thought that it was tasty and healthy. Finally, they were asked to create something very simple. They were asked to create a diary and to make entries for at least the weekend. Here is a sample of what the students did. So for Friday, it says, Dear Diary, I got up at 6 a.m. I went to school and studied Spanish. In the afternoon, I relaxed with my telephone. On Saturday, Dear Diary, I had breakfast and washed my hair. In the night, I read poems. I went to bed at 8 o'clock. On Sunday, Dear Diary, I rode my bicycle and had dinner at 6. I studied biology and slept at 9 o'clock.
To end, I just want to say that the integration of stream as well as the integration of authentic learning materials and activities is possible at least to some extent in all the subject areas. Thank you so much for listening, and I now hand over to the other presenter.
¿Cómo pasaste el fin de semana? How did you spend your weekend, colleagues? I know our 4 teachers were quite busy, putting the finishing touches on their presentations for today. Now more than ever, when there have been so much learning loss for our students, it is incumbent upon educators to provide authentic learning opportunities so that students can make up ground in the shortest possible time. It was Alexandra Trenfor who said, "The best teachers are those who show their students where to look, but don't tell them what to see." These 4 teachers are among some of the best. Now, let's get back to their story. One day, the students found themselves in another heated debate. They were discussing the topic of energy and its importance in their everyday lives. How do we as Taínos and Spaniards get to hunt, to play the game of betas, to lift boxes to help our friend to move, and even to cook? They asked each other. Well, Miss Ketania Farquharson will take you through this chapter of the story and provide the answers to this question and more. Following her will be the closing chapter in this book. It was reserved for Mrs. Erica Allen Lennon, who tied up all loose ends with the topic, the 5 senses. Take us away, Miss Farquharson and Mrs. Allen Lennon.
Hola todos. Enhancing diversity through the grade levels. Conquering the digital divide. Hello everyone, I am Ketania Farquharson, a grade 5 teacher at the Esher Primary School in Jamaica. Today, I will be highlighting one of my science lessons done on the topic energy. This lesson was done with a group of grade 5 students, and this lesson depicts authentic learning through STREAM. The objectives laid out for this lesson were operationally define the term energy, potential, kinetic, solar, mechanical, and electrical, and heat or thermal energy. Students were able to relate selected sources of energy to their corresponding energy forms. And for the psychomotor aspect, students would have constructed or create a modeled community showing the different energy forms. The affective aspect, they would have recognized the importance of energy to life processes and everyday situations. Let's get right into our lesson. During this lesson, there were several activities which was done. We had live sessions as well as asynchronous sessions. During our live session, students were shown a Google slide presentation with definitions for the different forms of energy, which they would have read, and we would have discussed in class to get further explanation or clarity on the concept at hand. After which students were engaged in a fun Kahoot game, which they all enjoyed since they were competing against each other to reach the leaderboard. Here we have a video which was created by a student showing different devices in the home which would have depict the different energy forms in their home.
and you know, persons get scared because even when I initially started on it, I was afraid to even go to swim because you know it was.
And I must say that this student had went all out in his environment and in his home, showing all the different things that would have depicted the different energy forms he had learned in class. So we can definitely say that he had learned about the different energy forms with the presentation that he had given here. Here we have another video which was done by another student.
In this video, we will be demonstrating some types of energy. For example, kinetic energy. This causes movement. But if we should stop, this is potential energy. Now, let's move on to chemical energy. Chemical energy is something that is stored. For example, this phone. When it's full charge, the battery is stored. Now come with me. With the flick of a simple switch, it causes light energy and also heat. If you should touch it, it burns. Now this fan. Can you guess what type of energy this is? Let me give you a second to see if you can figure it out. If you said electrical energy, you're correct. Now, this causes wind energy. It can cause to fly kites, and can you hear the sound? It can also cause sound energy. Electrical energy can be used to do different types of things. Different types of things, such as driving cars and so on. It is all.
And so there you have it with the video. So we have some future photographers here or videographers here. And in one aspect of our lesson, students were placed into groups where they were asked to create concept maps depicting the different energy forms. And this was one of our completed concept map by a group. Wonderfully done. Here we have another concept map which was created by another group. And I must tell you, these students are good at technology. During our lesson, students started working on their models to depict the different energy forms that they would have learned about. And these energy forms would have been a part of their environment. Here are some completed energy forms community, which was created by the students. So here we have the one on our right seems to be like a town, because it has 3 cars there driving up on a road. You see 2 lines there. So it shows that it's somewhere on a highway or somewhere there. And I must tell you, these students are so creative. The one on our left depicts a home. And I must say that there would have been several different energy forms in this home. And they had the car parked outside, which would have depicted an energy form as well. Here we have two other completion done by our student. And please note that they would have used materials in their homes to create these communities or modeled energy farm communities. How was stream integrated in this lesson? Science. Students classified energy farms according to potential and kinetic energy based on a live gallery walk, which was done during our live session. Students integrated technology by watching videos to generate ideas for creating their models and use online tools and apps to create definitions for their related energy farms. They used the Jamboard to create concept map and depict the energy farms, which we have explored earlier, and students played online Kahoot games to reinforce the concept. Maths. How was maths integrated? Students measured and draw different kinds of lines to create their model energy farms community. They associated the different types of lines and angles in their description about their community. And this is a topic that they're currently doing in maths, different types of lines and angles. So they are associating it with science. How does reading came about? Students read different scenarios about the topic, and they had also researched and read information about energy farms in our session as well. Engineering. Students created 2D and 3D shapes to depict energy farms in a community, and they had constructed and create their community that depicts the different energy farms, as you have seen earlier in this video. Arts. How was arts integrated? Arts, students combined different colors to make the community look appealing, and they have used shapes and lines to create buildings and other aspects of their energy farms, as well as their graphic organizer, which we have explored earlier. How was this lesson authentic? It was authentic since the students associated the different energy farms in their home and community in which they lived, and they were exposed to the different career paths that use energy farms, and they have constructed their model themselves, which shows that authentic hands-on learning took place. This ends my presentation here today. Thank you for tuning in.
Or 5 senses. This topic is done with a group of 4-year-old learners in an online setting. The objectives are, at the end of the lesson, the learners will be able to identify their 5 senses, explore their 5 senses and the job they do, investigate their 5 senses. In order to achieve the objectives, they were little detectives within their environment. They were engaged in class using their Pear Deck slide, where they collaborate, communicate, and explain their activities. They did posters in class, where they were allowed to cut and paste, write their own sentences, count, create, and explain what the poster is saying. In this activity, the learners use magnifying glass to investigate things around them using the senses. They were allowed to collect 5 or more items and be little detectives of smell, where they record their findings on their Pear Deck slide, and this was done using smiley face and sad face. Within our online class, we use tactile kit materials to integrate within our lessons each day, and this helped with their fine motor development. They were assessed during and after the lesson, where the practitioner gained a better understanding of our students who gained mastery, near mastery, and non-mastery. The learners were given asynchronous assignment and they were asked to report their findings creatively. Learner 1.
My 5 Senses book by Annalie Jones. Once upon a time, there was a little girl called Annalie Jones. I live with my mommy, daddy, and brother. Every day I use my 5 senses, like see, hear, smell, taste, touch. I see a lot of things with my eyes. I can see numbers and letters. I can see myself in the mirror, my school and children. I can hear the birds tweeting with my ears. I can hear loud sound and soft sound. I can smell the garbage with my nose. I can smell good things or bad smell, like the pool, gas, the garbage, the electricity, the stinky socks chicken, some good smells, like chicken, perfume, strawberries, and flour. I can taste my snacks with my tongue. Yeah, bitter, salty, and that's we have the umami, salt, bitter, salty, and sweet. I can touch with things with my hands. This is rough, this is smooth, this is soft, this is hard, this is prickly. Eyes, tongue, ears, and nose and hand. Hooray! The end. Hope you enjoy. My 5 Senses book.
Learner 2. He made a hopscotch, exploring his 5 senses. Learner 3. He did a poster. In doing the poster, it helped with his language development, fine motor development, and high hand coordination. Learner 4. She did an experiment using salt and sugar.
Hi, Tyra.
Hi.
Today we're going to solve the case of salt
and sugar
versus sugar. Well done. Oh no!
Oh my god!
The labels fell off the sugar and salt jars. There's no labels.
No labels?
Can Tahira help get them back on right?
Yes.
We know that sugar is sweet.
Yeah, I like it.
And salt is not.
Yes.
But they look the same, don't it? Both of them are what color? What color are both of them?
Green.
White. The sugar and salt. What color are the sugar and salt?
White.
White. So they are both the same. They look the same.
Yeah.
Let us use our 5 senses to gather information.
Yeah.
All right. Let's go.
Okay.
So we're going to use our 5 senses. All right. So we have our
nose.
Yes.
Tongue.
Mhm.
Ears.
Mhm.
Hand.
Mhm.
And eyes.
Eyes. So we're going to use all our 5 senses to see if we can figure out which one is salt and which one is sugar. All right. So the first sense is is our nose. So are we going to smell the jars with the sugar and salt to see what is sugar and what is salt? All right, so take up one and see.
Salt. Sugar.
Wow. So tell me, is the sugar sweet or salt?
Sweet.
Also, did you smell something sweet with the sugar?
Yes.
Okay, so we're going to label it. So take up the salt, right, and you're going to label it where you said salt. Well done. And take the sugar label. We're going to label on sugar. Let's see. Oh, this is upside down.
Oopsie, sorry.
Yeah, paste it now. Well done. Okay, good job. All right, so we know that we used our nose to differentiate which one is salt and sugar. Let me look. You're absolutely correct. So now you're going to use the green sticker to place on salt because you use your nose and you could tell which one is salt. Good job. And the pink sticker to tell which one is sugar and you used your nose. Well done. What comes after your nose on the pictograph? What comes next? What comes next after your nose then?
And my tongue.
Well done. So we're going to use your
Tongue.
to see which one is sugar and which one is salt. Well done. So let me just take the labels off.
I'm taking it off for you.
And we're going to mix it up because they fell off again. Oh no. Alrighty. So take one of the jars. One. Dip your finger. Can you tell me what is that, salt or sugar?
Salt.
This one is salt.
Sugar.
Taste it again. Is it sweet or salty?
Sweet.
So is it sugar or salt?
Sugar.
Sugar. So you're going to label the label sugar on it.
Thank you, teacher.
And you're going to label, no, you haven't tested that one. Test that one. Not too much. Not too much. Shake off that. Shake it off. Okay, go ahead. What do you taste? Is it salt or sugar?
Salt.
Salt. So you're going to label it with the label salt. Well done. So we knew we use our tongue to taste whether it's sugar or salt. So did we use our tongue? Did you use your tongue?
Yeah.
And could you tell the difference with the sugar and salt?
Yeah.
Alright, so you're going to use the green for the salt because you use your tongue for the salt. You could taste it.
It tastes bad.
It's salty.
It's salty.
Good job. And the pink for the sugar because you use your tongue to taste the sugar and you could tell the difference. Here. Well done. What is next? After your tongue then, your ear. So, are we going to test the theory that we know if it's sugar or salt? Yeah. So we're going to close our eyes and I'm going to shake them and you're going to tell me. Hi, Ty. You're going to tell me which one is salt and which one is sugar, all right?
Okay. Salt. Sugar.
All right, which one? Listen again. Is this
Salt.
salt? This is salt? Huh? Yeah?
Yeah.
And this one is?
Sugar.
Oh my days! That's a lucky guess. So you're correct.
Yeah.
This one is sugar and that one is salt. So you could definitely hear to see which one is sugar and which one is salt.
Yeah.
Because salt is a little bit heavier, heavier in sound as it opposed to salt, which is a little bit lighter in sound. That is soft, and this one is a bit loud. So you're going to use your green sticker to place on salt. Well done, because you use your ears and you got it correct. And the pink ones to put on ear, because you used your ears, you did it yourself, and you knew which one is salt and which one is sugar. Or it was just a lucky guess, huh?
Yeah.
All right. So the next one is your hands. So you're going to see if you could touch the sugar and salt to tell if it's sugar or if it's salt. Remember, this is your experiment.
Yeah.
So you're able to tell whether it's sugar or salt. So if you can't touch to tell the difference, this is your experiment, okay?
Yeah.
Good. So you're going to feel it. Listen, take your time. Okay, what is that?
Sugar.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
You sure?
Yeah.
Okay, try this one. What is that?
Salt.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
Okay, so you could use your touch, your feeling to tell the difference with sugar and
salt.
Okay, so you're absolutely
Salt.
correct. All right, take your hands out. Shake them off. Okay. So you're correct, Tyra. Well done. So you could use we have used 4 senses and you have got them correct as it relates to which one is salt and which one is sugar.
Yeah.
So that's a good job.
Yeah.
So you're going to use the stickers for sugar and the sticker for salt.
Okay.
Well done. So the next sense is your
eye.
So you could see if it's sugar or you could see if it's salt. So can you tell the difference just by looking at them?
Yeah.
So I took off the labels to see if you will get it correct. So you're going to tell me, look at them carefully. Which one is sugar and which one is salt?
This is salt and this is sugar.
Wonderful! Good! High five! You did a very good job experimenting. So you're going to place your stickers to tell that you knew by looking at them that you could tell the difference between salt and
sugar.
Well done. So let's recap your experiment. So Tahira, you could smell whether it's sugar or salt?
Yeah.
Okay. Could you taste whether it's sugar or salt? Can you taste it?
Yeah.
Good. And your ear, could you tell the difference by listening to see if it's sugar or salt?
Yeah.
Okay, and you touch it. Could you tell the difference with sugar and salt?
Yeah.
Good job. And your last one is the eyes. Could you tell the difference with sugar and salt?
Yeah.
Yeah. So you could use all your 5 senses to tell the sugar versus salt. So well done. You did an excellent job. You're a great scientist, you know. Good job.
Bye.
You're going to tell me which.
Parental involvement is very important at this age level. Thank you for listening.
Ladies and gentlemen, we hope you enjoyed the story from the past to the present. Marion Stenger in 2018 wrote an article entitled 10 Ways Authentic Learning is Disrupting Education. Among those ways mentioned are 1. It enhances creativity and critical thinking. 2. It increases engagement and motivation. 3. It boosts retention of information. And 4. It helps build 21st century skills. Having just seen a synopsis of the opportunities these teachers are providing for their students, like me, I hope you feel motivated to continue the push and have gotten some ideas that you can use with your own students. We know how difficult our circumstances are as teachers, and they are getting even worse, especially now that some schools in Jamaica have gone back to face-to-face and will be using the blended approach. Things may seem impossible, but we will not allow ourselves to be daunted. Congratulations, Mrs. Malady, and your first set of mentees on a job well done. And colleagues, we invite you to register, if you have not done so already, for part 2, which will take place next week when we will get to the high school perspective. It promises to be great. Please don't miss out. Until then, be safe, and I now hand back over to Rebecca, who will lead us through the Q&A section. Thank you, everybody.
Great. Thank you so much. It's so nice to see some of those direct examples from students, because I think maybe less so now, but when I was a teacher myself, I think it was always a mystery what happened in other classrooms and what kinds of work students produce. So it was really nice to see some really rich examples of that. So if anybody has questions, please go ahead and post them in the chat here. Or you're welcome to raise your hand and I will go ahead and unmute you. I'm going to actually ask the first question while we're waiting to see if we've got any other questions here. And my question is for any of the presenters who'd like to respond. I'm curious to know, since learning about STEM education, or maybe since kind of having this experience working with Bhagya, what would you say has been the most transformative thing that you've done in your classroom? In what way have you changed in the way that you approach teaching and learning? If you're a presenter, go ahead and just unmute and feel free to contribute. In what way have you most changed?
For me, in the early childhood classroom, it's mostly the use of the different technology devices and also the apps that I use with my students.
Great, thank you so much, Erica. About Katanya, Carrie Ann Bell Ferran, or Mitzi?
Good afternoon, everyone. Well, for me, I am making more efforts in integrating the different subject areas in my lessons. It was not something that I used to do before, so now I am making the effort to do so. And I am enjoying it and the students are enjoying it as well.
Great. Glad to hear that students are responding to it. Katanya or Mitzi, would you care to respond?
Can I add something?
Yes, go ahead.
All right. During the online setting with the early childhood group, we use what we call a tactile kit because they are not face to face with you. They have to use manipulatives, and the manipulatives are in the kit so they can use it and integrate it within the activities daily.
Great, excellent. All right, well then I'm going to have another question. I asked you kind of like, how did STEM change your teaching? I'm curious to know, this is a question that actually came up at the last webinar that we did with Teachers of Jamaica. When we say authentic learning, what do we really mean by that? Or rather, what do you really mean by that? What is authentic? And then how does that compare to what is not authentic in your mind? Katanya, Carrie Ann, Erica, or Mitzi, would you care to respond?
For me, at the early childhood level, it is authentic because the students actually get to explore their environment, interact with persons, and go out there and bring back the information and share it with their classmates, and they own their own learning. So it is authentic for me.
Perfect. Anyone else care to share or add to that?
For me, it's authentic when the students are able to use the language in a natural way. And when they're able to use authentic resources, for example, authentic songs.
Great, thank you. Katanya, I know you want to speak. I think you should be able to unmute yourself now. Go ahead and give it a try.
Okay, the question was asked, how has this changed my teaching experiences in the classroom? Well, it has boots me now to do more research to get more authentic activities to go in the classroom and showcase to my students so we can have them relating what they are learning to the real world, to the environment in their home, especially now during COVID. So it has boots my research skills, and now I'm more searching for different apps, tools, activities, and things to use to enhance learning in my classroom. So it's a good venture.
Great. Thank you so much for sharing. Do we have any other questions? Sabira says that authentic learning means having students apply concepts in a practical way through projects or research. And Mitzi says it's when students can relate. So real life learning, not just textbook learning, right? Not where it's been so distilled down that it doesn't seem to connect to anything in the real world anymore. Great. All right, is there anything else that anybody wants to share?
Can I say something, Rebecca?
Please do.
Yes, basically authentic learning, it's an instructional approach. And what's happening here is you are helping your students to explore, discuss, okay, and construct concepts very meaningfully. And so you're helping them to really bring a connection with the real world problems, like Ms. Abdullah said, through projects. And so you are helping them to bring the real world into the classroom. So I think it's very important, especially at this time during the pandemic, when there's a paradigm shift in education and when the students are in their own environment. And so we are trying now to help them to be more engaged in the learning process. So I think it's very important, especially now. So thank you for that, Rebecca.
Great. If there's I just want to check real quick. Does anybody else want to share anything at this time? Any of our speakers or moderator, Dr. Thomas, before I close out? No? All right. Well, I'm going to go ahead and just put up my final slide here. I want to thank everybody for having come And yes, a few people have asked, will there be a recording? Yes, the recording, if you just Google OAS I-10, and if you go to our front page and then go to news, then there's a drop down to webinars, and this will be posted probably within the next few days. So you can look for it there. Great. Well, thank you, everyone. I hope you have a wonderful afternoon, a good close to the semester before the holidays set in. And I hope everybody stays safe. Thank you so much, everyone.
Thank you, Rebecca. And thank you, teachers. Thank you, everyone who has joined us this evening.
Good evening. Before you go, I must say thank you for sharing, and I'm sure the teachers would have appreciated the efforts of all the presenters. I really like the way you guys have taken it, like a story. So it's a bit different from just coming and presenting. So I think that was very good, very commendable. Just a quick question though, when we come to these webinars, do we get a certificate to show? Because we'd have to prepare our professional portfolio, and we need evidence, because I've been going to a lot of webinars and so forth, but apart from doing my little screenshot for my e-portfolio, it would be nice to have a nice little certificate to say I would have attended. So I don't know what can be done in that regard.
So I-10 is happy to provide, if you just drop an email I'll put my email in the chat. If you would like me to send you a note of verification, I'm happy to do that. We don't unfortunately provide certificates just because we have thousands of people who come to the webinars, and so we don't have an automated system. But if you send me an email at oas.org within the next few days, I'd be very happy just to send a note confirming that you attended and saying that you were here for an hour and 15 minutes. So you can
Awesome.
that. Great.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Thank you. All right. Well, with that, we'll go ahead and close. And again, have a wonderful evening, everyone.